The Legends are back once again, of course, after having a couple weeks off without a new episode. We have finally returned with a brand new episode of DC's Legends Tomorrow, Season 6. Of course, I missed the last 2 episodes, I think it was. But now we're back, and if I'm being honest, I wasn't really that excited or hyped up for this episode, but then actually watching it, it was just a really fun episode. I really enjoyed it. A lot happened, and I'm super excited to talk about it, and I'm also really excited for next week's episode with Beast Slayers. That's going to be really fun. But today we are talking about DC's Legends Tomorrow, Season 6, Episode 11. So of course, as always, if you've not yet seen this episode, we are talking full spoilers, breaking it down in depth, and let's get into this. So, kind of our main storyline that we have going on in this episode all starts off at the beginning where we have Sara, Mick, Spooner, and Astra. They find this puzzle box is what they're calling it, but it definitely reminded me of like one of the mother boxes like from the Justice League movie, but again, it was just a puzzle box, but still kind of looked like a mother box. And this teleports them all the way into space, into this floating bowling alley in space, which was honestly kind of crazy. But this is something we saw a little bit of a sneak peek of in the second half of Season 6 trailer, which I did do a breakdown of, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. But they find out that the only way they're going to be able to escape this bowling alley and make it back to Earth and actually save the Earth is by defeating the Pin Killers. And of course, Mike the Strike challenges them to a bowling tournament. Which, will be fine if they can actually bowl. I mean, Sara and Spooner, they're both great at it. They're great bowlers. Mick, he just sucks because, he's wearing gloves and that doesn't really work out well for him. And Astra, well, she just doesn't even want to bowl. Then, meanwhile, we have Nate and Zari 1.0. Now that they're reunited, they're going on one final date before she has to go back in the totem. So, they're going camping. But turns out, they're not going to have the chance to unplug here because it's more of a double date. Because you got some visitors at their campsite and they're just complete weirdos. But at least there's some cool stuff with them, questioning their relationship if they really belong together. Of course they do. They're like such the perfect couple. Honestly, 2 of my favorite characters on the show. And they both actually play a pretty large role in saving the world in this episode. Because turns out the world is ending. And the reason that is happening is because the Earth has now been turned into a bowling ball that the Pin Killers are actually using in this bowling tournament. But we'll talk about that more in a second, because we also have Gary helping out Ava to find the perfect wedding dress, which was both hilarious and so perfect because, when they started off this show, I think it was season 2 or maybe it wasn't until, it was season 3 where they introduced Ava and Gary, and of course they were working at the Time Bureau, and they were started off as super close friends, and they were partners and everything. So I think that's really cool, seeing that this is kind of coming full circle. That again, it was a funny moment seeing Gary try on the dresses and everything, but also bringing back their relationship full circle. I really enjoyed seeing that in this episode. But meanwhile, we also have Constantine, who has just gone completely crazy now because, of course, in the last episode, he drank from the fountain of Imperium. So now he's just going completely crazy here, and we know this is going to be his final arc in the show, as Constantine will be leaving the Legends at the end of the season, and then Matt Ryan will be returning as a brand new character next season. Again, if you haven't heard about that previously, check out my video on it. But he's just feeling himself now. He's got his magic back, and he's just trying to flex that magic. He's trying to use it as much as he can, and that is when he actually teleports the Waverider to Earth. Or at least that's what he tries to do, because when he actually does it, it ends up teleporting the Waverider right outside of that floating bowling alley in space. Because again, it turns out that the Earth is one of the bowling balls now. So the stakes are high, because not only if the Legends lose are they going to get vaporized and sucked into a bowling ball, but then on top of that, the whole Earth is going to be stuck up in this display case in the bowling alley. So that is definitely not good. And luckily, our Legends do pull out the win here with actually Astra, who again before didn't even want to go bowling, but she ends up doing it, ends up saving the day. So that is definitely some great news right there. And so the Pin Killers are defeated, and Buddy's bowling alley is saved, and the day is just saved, and the Legends all reunite for a good time. and things are going good, and yeah, it's great. But then, of course, we get our promo for next week's episode, where again, we are tackling the whole Beast Slayers storyline, which I'm really excited to see, because it's kind of like a Jumanji type board game where like you get sucked into it and then it starts becoming more real, and then there's like this whole murder mystery element to it. That's something I'm really excited about. Just sounds like some really cool ideas all smushed together, which I'm really excited about. But guys, again, this was a great episode, really fun episode that I really enjoyed. And of course, we got that big wedding coming up. Super excited for that as well. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Season 6, Episode 11? And thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep up to date on everything goes on in the DC life.